What is up, fam? This is Donald from the Pinstripe Chronicles. I wanted to do an emergency meeting because, once again, the Yankees flat out embarrassed themselves last night, and the Yankees are staring into the abyss. And I'm sorry this World Series is over. Whether they win tonight, it's immaterial. This World Series is completely and utterly over. That's just the reality. Okay, so I don't. I mean, I have no faith that this Yankee team's going to come back and win four straight. It's not going to happen. They're not very good. That's been made obvious by this Dodger series. The Dodgers, congratulations. They are a much, much better ball club. They've got deeper. They've got a deeper lineup. They got a much better bullpen. They got a better manager. They got guys that give a shit. And yeah, they're just an altogether better organization right now, and that's just the reality. And so I'm not going to harp on hating the Yankees all that much because they've been outplayed. Frankly, I think the Dodgers have just been the better team. But there's certainly things that we can go after, and the thing I can go after is how pathetic the Yankees have been. The Yankees have been pathetic so far. I honestly think that Aaron Boone cost the Yankees any kind of a series after his screw up in Game 1. Derek Jeter basically admitted to that. He basically said it had a knock-on effect, and it's such a mistake that it could affect the following couple games, and that's exactly how it's happened. So Derek Jeter, once again, spot on. So yeah, Aaron Boone has had a horrible series, and Aaron Judge, Captain Titanic, has been missing. I don't know where he is. Maybe he's playing the violin as the Titanic is sinking, but he has been absolutely absent, and he's left this team hung up to dry. Let's be honest, he really has. He's left this team hanging. He's left this team rudderless and leaderless, and that's on him. He has been pathetic. He's been absent. He's done nothing to help this team win. He's not even gone on base, even remotely the amount of times he needs to get on base. You can't draw a walk. You're Aaron Judge. You can't draw a walk. No. I'm just going to strike out all the freaking time. So, I mean, honestly, let's be honest. Aaron Judge has possibly permanently affected his legacy because you can't play like this in a World Series. I don't give a rat's ass how good he is in the regular season now. That's done. Good stuff. You might be the greatest regular season hitter. I'm not taking that away from you, but you can't play like this in a World Series. But it's not just him. The whole team. Yesterday was the first time the Yankees have been at home and have a home game in a World Series in 15 years, and that's the slot that they serve up. They look like they don't care. And I know they care, but they look like they don't. And that comes from leadership and a lack of leadership. And I'm very disappointed. I'm deeply disappointed. And I honestly think, because I've seen a lot of World Series, man. I've seen us. I can remember going back to seeing the 96 World Series. And I can remember the sweeps that we had in 98, 99 to win those World Series. I can definitely remember the Mets World Series wins. I can definitely remember that Marlins World Series loss, and that was pretty brutal. The 09 was great, but I'll tell you what, this is the most pathetic World Series that I can remember in my lifetime that I've seen. Not just the Yankees. This is a pathetic effort. They're not even competitive. They're not even there. They competed Game 1, and they've been posted missing since then. They put the tail between their legs, and they're just like, okay, beat me. We love you, LA. You're better than us. It's pathetic. And they should all be ashamed of themselves. And these are the kind of losses that should prompt ownership to make changes. This is the kind of loss that should be like, you know what, Aaron Boone has to be on the chopping block. But we know he won't be. But he has had a lot to do with this horrible series because not just his moves or lack thereof, a lot of it is just the mentality is not there. They look ill-prepared, and they look like they've got to they look like they're playing a series in June. This is the World Series. It doesn't go any farther than this. And they're playing this series like it's June. They're like, you know what? We don't want to. We don't want. We don't want to pinch hit Trevino because we don't want him to get upset, or we don't want to play well, so they keep the same shit. Verdugo has to play every day, right? Because Aaron Judge is our captain. He loves him. They can't make any changes. It's pathetic effort. Really pathetic effort all around from the manager, from the players, from apart from a couple, and we're going to get into the good ones, but it's a pathetic effort. So we've got the chat starting to load up here, and the reason why I wanted to come on here is share this with our chat. So you guys are going to be as big a part of this show as any. A lot of interaction. Welcome all opinions. Any Dodger fans, come on. I'll give you guys your props. You guys are a much better team. And salute to you guys for the way that you've played this series. Absolutely just blitzed us. So let's get in this chat here. Got John the Beagle Dad. Thanks for joining, man. This postseason is gut wrenching. Yeah, this World Series in particular. Frank, many weren't around, and if you don't follow history of the game, the Yankees were swept in 1976 by the Reds. First time Yankees were in the series since, I was 20, disappointed by this week. Yeah, I know, but that was the Big Red Machine, bro. And as good as this Dodger team is, they're not the Big Red Machine. So, this you could definitely make the argument, and there's without a question here, that this Yankee World Series is one of the most embarrassing World Series in Yankees history. There has to be. So if you're talking 1976, that's still a long way back. And that was the Big Red freaking Machine. So this is worse. This is worse, in my opinion. Brad, Captain Air Conditioning. That's a great name. I'm gonna remember that, Brad. 6 for 43 with 20 strikeouts. That's insane. God help me. Let that sink in. A 140 batting average. And what's even scarier is Judge is now batting under 127 the postseason since the playing. It's disgraceful. FJ, good to see FJ in the chat. I was at the 1976 World Series. That's my man right there. Except for Game 2. It was a massacre. 2024 is worse. I'm my man right there. Because as good as the Dodgers are, they're not the Big Red Machine. It looks like we were reading each other's minds there, FJ. Absolutely spot on. Joe Buck in the chat. I wish Joe Buck was calling this World Series. It would be a lot better than the Dodger announcer. The dugout was lifeless. As lifeless as symmetry. Yep, right. No emotion, body language. Absolutely putrid effort. Absolutely. Yankees will never win with Aaron Boone as manager. I've been saying that forever, man. I'm even surprised they made it to a World Series with Aaron Boone. I don't care how well he did with the Royals and Guardians. Royals and Guardians, they can't compete with this Yankee team. I honestly think the Yankees they almost got a bye to the World Series. And congratulations for them to make it. But you think that if they faced like an Astros, I think it would be a different. Whenever they face something serious, they crumble. They completely crumble. The ALCS 2 years ago, they completely crumbled. World Series 2 years completely crumbled. This is what's Aaron Boone's legacy. Egyptian Magician. It's over. But I haven't given up yet. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, man. Anthony Garcia, thanks so much for joining, my man. Anthony Garcia is just as disgusted, absolutely. We've got Luca. I'll be joining Luca and his brother tonight, as we will likely be calling one of the last games of the Yankee season. If it's not tonight, it will be the game after that. It'll be all done and dusted. So you guys be sure to check out our live stream. Always a good time. I do particularly recommend you guys checking out Luca's rant on the Yankees while he was calling it last night on the Big Blue in the Bronx channel. He went to town on the Yankees, and deservedly so. We've got Egyptian Magician here. Verdugo still won't run to first hard. Yeah, one run to first hard. Yeah, it's the World Series. It's true. FJ, since the new stadium opened, more opposing teams celebrating New York than the Yankees. Preach. Anthony Garcia, don't worry. We made the World Series for the first time in 15 years. But yeah, you'll be safe for another 15 years for it. Egyptian Magician says Boone erased his 0-3 homer off Wakefield. I don't think anything will ever erase that. It's one of the great moments, but I don't rate him as a manager. Patrick, good to see you in the chat. Mark Vientos is only 24 years old. Him and Soto could dominate for years to come. Yeah, I want to talk about Soto for sure. And yet people cut Boone and Judge slack because they're here in the World Series. I say no, absolutely not. I'm not giving any of them slack. I know it's probably over, but I still have faith. One game at a time, fellas. All right. I like the attitude. Donald, I did the math. Without the Cleveland and Minnesota postseason wins, Boone is 12-20. Playoffs. Holy crap. Right. So we've got the chat starting to liven up here. So everybody give your thoughts on what we just witnessed here. And I want you guys to give me your opinion. Is this the most pathetic World Series that you guys have seen? And in terms of Yankee history, is this the most pathetic World Series in Yankee history? Let's be fair. The Yankees have had an amazing history. They've got 27 World Championships. There's not a team that comes even within within 2/3 of that shit. So absolutely amazing. They've had plenty of experience in the playoffs, but this is bad. This is freaking bad. I think this is as bad as I've ever seen. Gerald, they were selling me this World Series as the greatest, the most dreamed of, and it has been disappointing. Thanks, Gerald, so much for coming in. Absolutely agree. Chris Dudley, Astros cheat was the most pathetic. Okay. Egyptian Magician so far, yeah, but it's possible to change. Yeah, it could change. Maybe the Yankees might wake up, but if they were to wake up, wouldn't they have woken up yesterday? Yes, the worst. Patrick's in agreement. I mean, what's the competition? The Big Red Machine sweep? I think you can let them off. There's no letting off. It's been 15 years. 15 years. We've waited this long. You know? And Aaron Judge is coming off a season where he just hit 58 home runs. We've got Juan Soto who's doing his thing. We've got Big G doing his thing. And still, the Yankees are on the verge of getting swept in a World Series. And it's a pathetic and listless sweep, too. Game 1, they were competitive. Then they blew it. Game 2, they just played like ass. And Game 3, they actually managed to get worse than ass. These last 2 games have been dreadful. Utterly dreadful. And it's these kind of losses that should honestly invoke changes. But I don't think that'll happen. I think Aaron Boone will get a new contract because that's just the way things frickin' roll. With the Yankees, very little accountability, but I would love to be proven wrong. But I would love everybody to hit the like button for this pure Yankee fan over here. Because even if the Yankees take days off, which they're taking a lot lately, I'm not. So if you guys want to hit the like button, that would be much appreciated. Hit the like button, hit the sub button if you're new here. We welcome all new people in the chat. Dodger, Yankee, don't matter to me. I don't think they'll wake up, Gerald. Yep, I agree. And I've seen people complaining about why the lineup doesn't change. Okay, but who do you bring in? You don't have anyone. Spot on. A lot of good points there. So let's get into that. They should have made some changes to this lineup. I think. I think they've got some options on this bench, but they have misused this bench and has made this bench worse than it actually is. You've got Dominguez, who's one of our top prospects. I don't know why he's on this postseason roster. Why is he here? Just to sit? What's the point? He has not even been looked at. And he's apparently one of our top prospects. This guy is going to, be our future center fielder, and he's going to hit home runs, and he's going to do this, and he's going to do that, and the Yankees don't even trust him to get one postseason at bat. What's going on there? And it's not like the people ahead of him have done anything. Prior to Verdugo's home run, he's done nothing, right? And honestly, this catching situation's a mess. Austin Wells has called a great game, but his at bats have been putrid. They've been disgraceful. But pinch hitting him for Trevino, what's that going to do? You seen you seen the Trevino? He's like 3 for the last 41. What's he going to do? I can't remember the last time he's hit with power for anything. So what's he there for? And why was he playing yesterday? And he was still playing while the Yankees were down 4-0. What? They could have made a spark. They could have changed something. You know, they could have pinch hit Trent Grisham. Do something, anything, a little bit different, right? Then you can pinch hit. And then you can make the change and put Wells in as a defensive replacement after you've done a pinch hit. Try something different, anything. Trent Grisham has experience playing outfield at the top level, Gold Glove center fielder, and he's also able to run into a couple of home runs because he's got that power. You know, remember, let's not forget, one of the last times we ever actually saw him was he had a bases clearing shot off the wall at Fenway that with 2 outs that led us to a win over the Red Sox in the summer, and we never saw him since. This is a guy that's got the capability of running into something. Why haven't we seen him at all? So I don't understand what Boone's doing. I don't. Now, is it the best bench? No. Do we have like a lefty specialist bat that can come in? No. You know, we don't have like a Ruben Sierra. We don't have like a Luis Sojo. We don't have a Chili Davis. We don't have these kind of things. We just don't have that. So we've got Rob here. Rob, brother, if you want to hop on, man, I don't know if you're busy. I don't know what you're doing, man, but I'll send you the link, brother. It says here that Jazz is banning cleanup. Good holy heavens. Well, in that case, looks like good timing. Let's get this Yankee lineup up here, and let's break this shit down. No doubt it will be astonishing. I will absolutely have no doubt about that. Let's have a look at this lineup. I can't believe Jazz really going to clean up? What are they doing? Let's see if we can get that up. If anybody has the lineup up, let me know. I'm just trying to get the information up now. So, go here. Right, here we go. I got the lineup. Okay, it's going to be Glaber leading off. Juan Soto batting second. Aaron Judge batting third. Jazz Chisholm batting fourth. Stanton batting fifth. Okay. Okay, Aaron, I'll play along. Anthony Rizzo batting sixth. Volpe seventh. Volpe, have you seen his at-bats? Austin Wells, 8. Verdugo still there, 9. Yeah. Yeah, this thing's cooked. This thing's cooked. This thing's cooked. I'm speechless. This thing's freaking cooked. Why are you moving Stanton down? It's the only dude that's freaking hitting. Good Lord. Jazz Chisholm cleaning up? Oh, God. I mean, his golf swing cleaning up? Dude looks like Jazz Chisholm this postseason is swinging like he's got a freaking 9-iron. And he's trying to hit a freaking par 4. That's what he's swinging like. He golfs it. Freaking unbelievable. And he's batting cleanup. Donald, what would your lineup be? I would have had Soto and Stanton one after the other, and Aaron Judge I would have moved down. I would have put him in the cleanup spot. That's what I would have done, and yeah, that's the first thing I would have done. I'm not. I don't care about Judge's ego. You know, I don't. I really could care less about Judge's ego. Judge's ego is of no interest to me. I only care about the Yankees. And right now, Aaron Judge has been absent. He's been missing. His performance has been embarrassing. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing that he's done this entire World Series on in any aspect which has been in any way remotely positive. He's been a disgrace. I'm just going to say it, he's been a disgrace. Midnight Gardener, Volpe is trash. Yeah, I'm not a big Volpe fan, man. I'm not a big Volpe fan. And I almost fell off my couch when I was watching the World Series, and then the announcer was like, "Oh, there's so many comparisons between Anthony Volpe and Derek Jeter." There are no comparisons between Anthony Volpe and Derek Jeter. And maybe there's some people that are maybe quite young that haven't seen Derek Jeter. I can promise you, with every fiber of my being, that Anthony Volpe is nothing like Derek Jeter. Nothing. They do not compare in any way. The only thing that you can compare with them is that they both have a Yankee hat on and they both play shortstop. Apart from that, there is zero comparison. Derek Jeter is the GOAT, one of the best shortstops that's ever lived, and one of the best hitters that's ever lived. One of the best, he'd easily be top 5 Yankees of all time in the history of the Yankees. Anthony Volpe is a below average hitter and a slightly above average fielder. That's it. That's it. So I don't want to freaking hear about this comparison. Volpe's let us down. I don't think he's had a good World Series. Jazz Chisholm's let us down because he's been all talk. Yeah, let's go through this team. Let's go through this team because let's do that because I got a lot to say. Gleyber Torres. Let's start with Gleyber Torres leading off. He deserves an immense amount of credit, man. Every single one of his at-bats have been professional, been good. He works the count. He gets good swings on the ball when required, and he's been locked in. He's played great. Full salute to Gleyber Torres. I was never his biggest fan, but he has completely changed my opinion on him because he's one of the only ones that's actually shown up. Egyptian Magician says resign Torres. You could make that argument, and I won't argue with you. Because for me, you should reward guys that hit well in the World Series and the playoffs. And you should have a very critical view of a player if they don't show up, in my opinion. So Torres deserves a lot of credit. I would certainly look for a short-term deal to get him extended. I think that's probably a fair deal. He has been really good. So whatever happens the rest of the series, which will probably end tonight, but if not tonight, it'll end Game 5. He deserves a ton of credit. Juan Soto, much better hitter than Aaron Judge. I'm saying it right now. Yeah, you can hate on me all you want, but I believe truly that he is a better hitter than Aaron Judge. The reason is because his at-bats are better than Aaron Judge. And it's not just the postseason, and just in general. He never takes at-bats off. Every one of his at-bats are perfect. He always has a great at-bat. He never takes an at-bat off. He's always working the count. He always seems to come through in big spots. Juan Soto is a better player than Aaron Judge. Yeah, at me all you want. That's true. It's true. Give me I'll whatever it takes to re-sign Juan Soto has to be done because he's one of 3 people, including Torres, that's actually shown up this postseason. I'm disgusted with Aaron Judge, and that leads me to Aaron Judge, the captain, this fake captain. He's no captain. No, he's not. He's not my captain. He really isn't because he's not a captain. He doesn't lead this team. Have you guys seen what he does in these interviews afterwards, after these games? Oh, a loss is a loss. We got that little smirk. Yeah, I maybe need to come through for my guys. A little bit of a smirk. I'm sick of that. I never want to hear that shit again. He's so cool and calm and collected. Do you have any idea what you're doing? You're disgracing this freaking franchise with this World Series performance. How much do we pay you? And you're smirking? Yeah, a loss is a loss. You're down 3-zip. You're embarrassing. You're one of the worst Yankee World Series performances in their history. And you don't seem to show any urgency. That's why I'm so down on him right now. Now, for those that are going to say that I don't think he's brilliant, that's not true. I think he is brilliant. I think he is the best power hitter in the game, but I just don't think he's the best overall hitter in the game. I think Juan Soto is a better overall hitter, and I've been saying this for a long time. And the reason is because Aaron Judge can go into these slumps, and Juan Soto almost never does, because his at bats are kind of perfect. Now he doesn't have the home run upside and the power upside that Aaron Judge has, but what he does is he likes to come through in the clutch, and that's something that Aaron Judge doesn't. So, but the real reason why I wouldn't have given Aaron Judge the captaincy is because he's not achieved anything as a Yankee. Yeah, okay, he broke a couple of home run records. Good for him. But the Yankees, they count as they're a postseason team. In my opinion, what you do in the postseason is a reflection on your leadership. What I'm seeing is Stanton and Soto, those dudes are leading this team. Aaron Judge has gone hiding. And I wouldn't have been nearly as critical of Aaron Judge had he shown some accountability after these games. Had he gone, this is my fault. I'm truly freaking sorry. I'm truly sorry for letting this team down. I love this team. I love this organization. I love this fan base, and I've let them down. And this is on me, and I will do everything to change. I would not be as angry because you can go in slumps. Yeah, you absolutely can. You can play badly. You absolutely can. I don't blame him for that. I blame him for how chill and cool and calm and collected he still is after this putrid series. And I just don't view that as a leader. Could you imagine Derek Jeter being this cool and calm and collected down 0-3? A little smirk. Yeah, that's cool. A loss is a loss. Get out of here. Get out of here with that. So I'm very upset with Aaron Judge. Let's move on to Big G. I love this man. I watched his interview with A-Rod, and he talked about how he actually teaches people when they come in, like what it means to be Yankees and how to improve, and he works with people. Yeah, that sounds to me like a leader. Love to know if Aaron Judge does any of that. Big G's a leader, man. And I love that he says that he tunes out all the noise every single time he goes to the at bat. He doesn't hear the crowd. He just focuses on his job. That sounds like something that maybe Aaron Judge needs to learn from. Big G comes through. Big G is probably going to go to Monument Park after this postseason. It's one of the best postseasons I've seen. He's absolutely remarkable. He's been brilliant. And I never, ever, ever next season want to hear anyone complain about Big G. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if he gets injured and misses a month. I don't care. You're not allowed to complain. Not after this postseason. No one's allowed to complain about him. Facts. So that's him. He's one of the only people that's bothered to show up. Jazz. He's a lot of jazz and not a lot of contribution. He's had a couple of good moments. He steals bases and stuff. I think there's a lot of upside there, but I would love to keep that mouth in check. Because what did he say? He said the Yankees were going to win the World Series. Absolutely. He did he says, he didn't say we could win the World Series. We're going to do everything we can to win it. No. He says we will definitely win the World Series. And you're going to get swept. So I'm down on that. He's a whole lot of talk. He's a whole lot of jazz and not a whole lot of contribution. He's been okay. He's not nearly been as bad as Aaron Judge and some others. But considering, his upside, and how much we gave up to acquire him, he's he's been more of a distraction than a positive. So I'm a little down on him too, and I'm a big fan of his, but he needs to turn around. And the first thing I would love to do is get a real hitting coach to work on his swing, because that swing is fairly disgusting to watch. If you have any idea about baseball, that swing is yikes. I mean, you can say it looks like a Ken Griffey swing. No, it looks to me like he's golfing. It looks to me like he's got a sand wedge and he's trying to get out of a bunker. So he needs someone that can work on that and level that swing, because he's got all the upside in the world. He's got the upside to be a leadoff hitter. If he can level that swing and make some contact, good, solid contact, and not take at bats off, he's got all the upside in the world to be a great leadoff hitter, because he's got 30-30 potential, 30 homer, 30 steal potential. That's who he is. That's ideal. And he's got phenomenal athleticism, and he can play multiple positions. So I'm not saying get rid of him at all, but I'm down on him because he's talked far too much to be a Yankee. That's not acceptable, really. So we need a stronger manager. We need a stronger captain. Hi, Aaron. I don't know where you are, bro. I don't know what you're doing, honestly. What is it that you do in that locker room to earn the captaincy? Because you got dudes that are chirping, and it's a problem. So, yeah, a little down on Jazz, frankly, but he's not nearly. We've got 99 problems, and Jazz isn't one. Is probably where I'm going to go with it. We've got a ton of problems. We've got far more problems than Jazz is, but I'm not a big fan right now. I'm a little down on him. Anthony Volpe, I'm a little down on too. I mean, he's been okay. I mean, he's been better than Aaron Judge, but he doesn't look like he's going to be much. I really don't. I don't see what massive upside he has. If anybody can give me any kind of differing opinion, please do. I just don't see it. I think he's always going to be a guy that's going to give you mediocre bat at a top level. At his highest level will be mediocre, and above average defense. And sure, if you guys are happy with that, then great. If you guys are satisfied with that, then great. But, and I think I would have been happy with that had we not passed on Correa, passed on Seager, basically treated Peraza like yesterday's garbage, and they've paved the way for Volpe to get unlimited playing time and no ounce of accountability in terms of performance. And they have given him the keys to the kingdom. And I'm not sure if he's earned it. In fact, I'm convinced he hasn't earned it. Stevie B, give me Peraza. Thank you. I don't know. I just want to know exactly what Volpe does that Peraza doesn't. What is it? I just want to know. Because for me, Peraza has a better bat. We even saw it for the 2 games that he actually played. He actually showed more of a bat than Volpe. And he's got a better arm. Now, Volpe has better range, but Peraza has a much better arm. So, I don't know what indeed Peraza has done to be hated this much by the Yankee organization, but I really don't think that there's a big difference between the two. And I would have much preferred the Yankees to have given him some competition at shortstop. If he was a rotational piece where he'd play a bit of short, fine, excellent. But I don't see him as an everyday shortstop. Not with that putrid bat. So I'm a little down on him too. Left field, Verdugo, the reason why he plays every day is because he's Aaron Judge's guy. But he has played the best defense that we've had at left field since Brett Gardner, so there's no doubt about that. And salute to Verdugo for last night's at bat. At least he bothered to show up, hitting a 101 mile an hour home run out of the park. Deserves credit for that. But he's not done it nearly enough this postseason. He's been absent, but we don't see anybody else because they hate Dominguez or they just whatever it is. I don't understand. Um, and yeah, favoritism, John the Beagle Dad. I agree with that. Nathan, what's up? What is up, Nathan? How are you? Sup, D Train? How are you? So you go through this lineup, and finally, well, I do want to give credit to Anthony Rizzo because he has, he's limited. He doesn't have power anymore. He doesn't have that, especially with the two broken fingers. But what he does have is professional at bat. Hello, captain. Yeah, learn from Anthony Rizzo about have a professional at bat. Anthony Rizzo has gone on base a lot, and he's I think got like a 300 batting average in the World Series. Gets on base. He deserves credit. He's shown the right mentality, but by and large, nobody else has. It's been very limited, and it's been a putrid effort, and it's not right because the New York Yankees pride themselves on October. They pride themselves on the postseason. That's who we are as an organization. That's exactly who they are as an organization. It's what you do in October. Play like Yankees. Play like you care. Play with pride. Play with the mystique and the aura that they have. Represent the pinstripes that have been worn by Lou Gehrig, by Babe Ruth, by Derek Jeter, by Joe DiMaggio, by Yogi Berra, by Andy Pettitte. Wear it with pride. Go out there and fight. Like it's like there's no tomorrow. But the Yankees treat it like they've got infinite tomorrows. And that is why I'm very upset as a Yankee fan, honestly. They don't treat this World Series with any kind of urgency. It's like, well, a loss is a loss, as our captain said. Not my captain. Egyptian magician, when has Verdugo won us a game? He hasn't, but I want to give him credit for the home run. But apart from that, he hasn't. Egyptian magician, he dances to Ice Cube while he's dissing New York. And by the way, I honestly thought it was a sad state of affairs where the Yankees, New York, Broadway, and the best we could do is Fat Joe. I mean, 2009, we had J frickin' Z and Alicia Keys. You couldn't got me a big-time New York artist? I mean, I'm not dissing Fat Joe, but his performance was weak, especially in comparison to Ice Cube the day before, where he was going around and he was basically just dissing New York, and then and the Yankees were dancing to it. Like, yeah, that's what they are. They have no pride. None. To be fair, Verdugo probably didn't hear the word. He's jamming a cube, man. Respect. Yeah, well, I respect the way the Dodgers have gone out to play this series. I don't have any respect for the way the Yankees have. D-Train, the third spot hitter is the reason we are in the position we are right now. Is spot on. I completely agree. Aaron Judge is a big reason for this. He's about, you could say, argue 2/3 of the reason why this is. Hate to say it, this team doesn't reflect the tradition of being a New York Yankee besides Big G, and so preach! Absolute preach, Stevie B. That's exactly where I'm going with this. I want the Yankees to have yesterday. It's almost too late now. The horse is already freaking bolted to try and perform tonight. Last night was the time to show it. Packed stadium, October, New York Yankees, World Series, Bronx. That's what it's all about. And they performed like that. Do you see the way that they performed against Walker Buehler? They made Walker Buehler look like Kurt Schilling. And they rolled over and died. They had after the first two innings, weren't successful to them. They couldn't get anything done with them. They were like, we're toast. Soon as they went behind, soon as Clark Schmidt served up another meatball, which he's been doing a lot all October, the team went, "Oh, we're done. We'll see you again next year." Just putrid. Just a lack of urgency. Absolutely just pathetic. Egyptian magician, I block every Dodger. Shocker, the praise of ridiculous dancing. Any Dodger can slump. No worries. Well, you guys, because you've got such a deep lineup, and you got guys that are not afraid of the big moment. You guys got like Teoscar Hernandez. You got dudes that can that can perform just as good as their big three. And I also want to give credit to Otani because the dude dislocated his shoulder and he still played 24 hours later with one arm, and he was still getting on base. He was drawing walks. Now he's not the same player now, but at least he showed up for his team. Now his numbers aren't great, but he's still come through in a couple of spots. But I was quite impressed by his at bats. He was drawing walks. It's a hell of a lot more than our fully healthy captain. Captain Titanic. So salute to Otani, but it's all about Freddie Freeman, man. He's the World Series MVP. He's unbelievable, and the Yankees look ill prepared. They look like they didn't do any homework on the Dodgers whatsoever. I don't think the Yankees coaching staff have done any homework whatsoever on that Dodger team because they look completely putrid. Buehler destroyed the Yankees, and it's not like he's Curt Schilling, and the Yankees just looked ill-prepared for his pitches, looked ill-prepared for him, and they were meek and pathetic against them. They can't keep throwing into Freddie Freeman's hot zone. Why are they constantly going at him in the inside part of the plate? That's Freeman's freaking wheelhouse. Clark Schmidt, you must be a moron. Because he did exactly the same as what Nestor Cortez did. And guess what happens? It goes right out of the ballpark. Stop throwing him inside with your mediocre, shitty fastball. It's going to get destroyed. Freeman's waiting on it. John the Beagle, he was told to throw. Yeah, because the Yankees don't do any preparation. They don't. They don't prepare. They don't coach this team. They look ill-prepared, and so when things go against them, they put their tail between their legs and they go play again next year. That's why I'm pissed. It's not acceptable, man. They just look completely ill-prepared. And then running on their left fielder, who's got a hell of an arm, with our slowest, I love Big G, but he is our slowest base runner. And he had no chance of beating it. Yeah, Chris, it was a cut fastball. But Luis Rojas is a disgrace. He's the worst third base coach in the game. He's been killing the Yankees all season. He has to go at minimum. So he stranded Big G, ended a rally, testing that dude's arm in left field. That dude has got a hell of an arm because the Yankees weren't prepared. They don't do any preparation. They just don't. There is an arrogance about this Yankee organization. They really are. They are arrogant. And I'm sick of it. There's a ton of arrogance. And it comes from the top. That's the way I view it. I think they approach things with arrogance. Jazz Chisholm. Oh, we were going to win the World Series. It's guaranteed. It's not fucking guaranteed. How about you show up? John the Beagle Dad. No preparing is a lack of professionalism. It is. I just want to know what the Yankees did when they get to the ballpark at Yankee Stadium at midday, 11 in the morning, You got about 7 hours, 8 hours to prepare. What were they doing in that time? Because they didn't look like they knew what they were doing out there. They had no approach, none, against Walker Buehler. None. They had no idea what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And none, no clue. Not a clue. Luis Rojas just sending guys. Yeah, get yourself thrown out. On you go. Hey, you want to get thrown out? Come on over. Freaking disgrace. And that's why I'm more angry than anything. It's just the lack of effort in a World Series. They just look. That's just pathetic. And I'm speechless. Patrick Rojas is only here because the Boons are close with the Alou family tree. That's interesting. The third base coach should know their team's players' running speed. Exactly. And they should know which arms you can run on and which arms you can't. And everyone knows that you can't run on the Dodgers left field. You can't do it. Who's going to drive Stanton in? But that's the problem. I agree. Who was going to drive him in? Good point. I had no faith. But that's still not a way to get yourself thrown out. You got to have faith in passing the baton to the next guy. The fact they don't have that faith says everything about the lack of depth in this lineup, and that's on Brian Cashman. Because of his arrogance, they didn't put better players together to fill out the bottom end of that lineup. There should have been somebody that can drive Stanton in. But they don't have it. But you still have to do the smart thing. There was no chance Stanton was going to beat that throw. None. I am not pinning it all on Judge. I'm saying it's about, well, to be honest, I've spent most of this podcast talking about Aaron Boone. Because due to the lack of mentality, the lack of leadership, and his bizarre decisions, a lot of this is on Aaron Boone. But a lot of it is on Aaron Judge. And I don't think I've ever said that it's all on Aaron Judge. In fact, I just went through the entire batting order and I criticized 2/3 of them for the most part. So I think that there's a ton of issues with this Yankee team. And that's why they've been so putrid and pathetic in this World Series. And it goes beyond Judge. But, Judge has to take the majority of criticism because of his contract, because of what he did in the regular season, and the fact that the Yankees prematurely gave him the captaincy. And I'm sorry, if you're batting in between Juan Soto and Big G, and you basically kill this lineup because you'd not put together one professional at bat in this entire World Series, then you absolutely deserve the blame. No one's above the blame. I don't care. Now, I'm very happy that he got a standing ovation. For anyone who's going to go off this podcast thinking that I hate Aaron Judge, don't get me wrong. I got an Aaron Judge jersey in my in my closet, and I got 2 Judge bobbleheads to the right of me. Right, so it's not the case that I hate this guy. I love this guy. He's a great hitter, but I'm embarrassed by his effort in the postseason, and I never agreed with giving him the captaincy because I think that's something that's special and it's sacred. To be a captain of the Yankees is sacred, and it should only be given out to those that have performed and won championships. I've always believed that and always will believe that. Derek Jeter was that guy. He knows what it takes to win. He does. Derek Jeter knows what it takes to win because just listen to him talk about it. He knows exactly what it takes to win. Aaron Judge doesn't. He's not a winner. Not yet. Judge hit this series would be split right now. Spot on. Thanks, John the Beagle Dad, for checking in. I really do appreciate it. Derek Jeter ran into the stands. My guy. That is my guy. It's very frustrating. John Gotti. We got Gotti in the chat. So John Gotti, bro. This Yankee team deserves to be swimming with the fishes, let's be honest. No guts, no glory. Horrible Judge. Sadly, Judge has been a chocoholic. Everybody, give me your chat. Give me your thoughts. I mean, this is going to be a therapy session. At the end of the day, we're 3-zip down. But I do want to go in a little early. Here we go. Poop Barlow here. What's Poop got to say? Aaron Boone is so damn gutless and is the epitome of getting in your own way. My man. Loving the energy here. Spot on. How the F was Boone rehired after 2022? Spot on. Boone is constantly outsmarted and outdone by numbers and stuff. He's been outsmarted by Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts has completely outmanaged him in this series. And if you watch, I've seen Roberts' face, and he looks over the Yankee dugout almost with like a knowing confidence that he's got them. Aaron Boone has put together a pathetic effort as a manager. Pathetic in this World Series. Pathetic. Read those words. Pathetic. Chris Dudley, would you really run Cole into the top of the Dodger lineup 3 times in one game? Blaming Boone for that underestimates. No one misunderestimates the Dodger bats. In fact, that's estimating the Dodger bats. Let me explain. You ride and die with your ace. That might be an old school mentality, but it is absolutely the mentality. You ride and die with your ace. This is the guy that won you a Cy Young last year. This is the guy that you want in big spots. Do you want Garrett Cole, who's won a Cy Young, or do you want Clay Holmes, who implodes in big spots and has allowed 33% of inherited base runners this season? Who do you want? Garrett Cole, who's pitched 88 pitches and is having a quality game, or Clay Holmes, who's afraid of the big moment? I know what I'm going to do, and I know what that a lot of people are going to do. And as Derek Jeter pointed out, it had a knock-on effect. It affected the entire rest of the game because Boone had to go to his bullpen a little earlier than he should have. For me, that estimates the Dodger bats. You're like, what's our best shot at beating this Dodger team? Well, pitching-wise, it's Garrett Cole. He's our best shot. That is not misunderestimating the Dodgers. Blaming Boone, I mean, I blame Boone mostly for the Nestor Cortez move. Because Nestor Cortez throws a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. And he hadn't pitched since September 18th. He had no business being in that spot at that time. None. You're just basically throwing a layup to Freddie Freeman with the bases loaded and the 600 batting average. Again, I mean, I'm sorry, man. Definitely no disrespect to the Dodgers. I started this show giving all the respect to the Dodgers. I think it's more about what the Dodgers have done than what the Yankees haven't, but the Yankees have not shown up. But I think this is more an indicator of who this Yankee team is. I think if we faced any competition in the American League Championship Series, I think the Yankees would not have made it to a World Series. Because look at this. This is not even competitive. The Dodgers had more competition facing the Mets than the Yankees. The Mets gave them a far harder time than this Yankee team. With Aaron Judge, Mr. Captain. That's the fact. The Mets put in a better effort because their management is better, their mentality is better, they seem to care more. And this Yankee team just didn't show up. The Dodgers had a harder time beating the Mets than the Yankees. That should be an embarrassment to the Yankees. The Padres. The Padres almost beat the Dodgers. They almost did. Came within a game of beating the Dodgers. They gave the Dodgers fits. The Yankees haven't shown up. For me, that shows me something. That shows me where the Yankees are. That you can't even show up in a home World Series game for the first time in 15 years, and that is what you produce, getting completely and utterly shut down by Walker Buehler, and you didn't do anything until Verdugo's semi-meaningless home run in the ninth inning? That should tell you everything about the way this Yankee team is managed, the way this Yankee team has no leadership, the way this Yankee team is ill-prepared. The Yankees analytics staff don't analyze anything because they don't seem prepared for this Dodger roster. I mean, the Yankees had a ton of time to prepare for this Dodger series, and they still look unprepared. They have no idea who to turn to at what point. What did Aaron Boone do the days leading up to this series? Because every single move he's made has been pathetic. I just want to know. D-Train, my guy here, crushing it. Culture of the team and organization has died. The Yankee legacy died with George. I agree. CT Cards, Boone has smoked the rocks before each game when making decisions. Facts. Just very frustrating. Very frustrating. I mean, how could you not even try? And it didn't look like they tried. It didn't look like they tried last night. That's why I'm so pissed. It looked like once they went down to another pathetic effort from Clark Schmidt, that's my favorite word of the day. It's pathetic because it's what the Yankees are. After another pathetic starting effort from Clark Schmidt, it looked like the Yankees just gave up. Salute to Verdugo for that at bat in the ninth inning, but it was kind of meaningless because, let's be honest, the Yankees weren't going to come back. They had no chance. But I do want to touch on how horrible the umpiring has been for both sides. I've never actually seen it this bad. And I'm not saying this is the reason why the Yankees are down 3-0. No, not by any stretch. I'm putting the 99% of the blame on the Yankees for this. But the umpiring on all three games have been as close to incompetent as I've ever seen. There's strikes right down the middle that are being called balls. And vice versa. It's insane. I don't know what is going on. I mean, and another thing about Aaron Boone and his lack of leadership, Gleyber Torres got hosed in that spot. So after Verdugo hit that 2-run home run, he worked a count, and it looked like he'd worked a full count, and he had the opportunity of getting on base, which would allow Juan Soto to come up and possibly save the Yankees. But the umpire took it out of his hands because he called a strike on a ball that was about that high above the plate. Yeah, about there. And Gleyber Torres gestured it. That's Gleyber Torres gestured it. He was like that. And Aaron Boone sat blowing bubbles. Blowing his bubbles. You should have gone and supported your player. You should have run up there. You should have grabbed Gleyber Torres. And then you should have had some words for the umpire. If it led to you getting thrown out, good. It's not like you're doing anything anyway. It's not like any of your moves are fucking useful. So maybe make yourself useful. Get yourself thrown out. Get your money's worth. And maybe it might wake up this team. Because this team looked like they were in a trance. So I think Aaron Boone has embarrassed himself as a manager. How do you not go and support your player who just got hosed? By the way, and if anyone wants to compare, Roberts was supporting his players. He was barking. He was shouting. He's protecting his team. Aaron Boone blowing his bubbles because Boone's going to Cancun and probably within the next 48 hours. Chris Dudley equally tell Will Smith should have been walked for a bases loaded run. Luck scored. Torres got screwed, among others. Yes, absolutely. It's been terrible on both sides. As I said, is the umpiring has been as bad as I've ever seen. It's like the ghost of Hernandez. I mean, what are we doing here? It's the ghost of Angel Hernandez. It's ridiculous, man. Look, little pitches richly right down the middle of the plate are being called balls, and there's no accountability. What is the process that MLB go through to choose their umpires for a World Series? What is that process? Because I've looked at the rankings of these umpires, and they're all like in the 30s. They're like in the late 20s and the 30s. They're not even rated good. How do you get the biggest spot, the World Series, that the whole world is watching? Japan's watching, Australia's watching, Scotland's watching. And you've got an umpire who doesn't have any idea what the strike zone is, without any accountability. At least in the NFL, the better rated officials get the playoffs. Seems to be with Manfred, it's if you suck, you're getting the World Series. Unbelievable. I don't think Chris is a troll. I think he's actually a pretty knowledgeable guy. He's given us some good feedback. Just please use a computer to call strikes. These, but yeah, absolutely. Give me robot umps. Give me robot umps. So, anyway, I mean, it wouldn't have affected this game, not by a long shot. Wouldn't have affected yesterday or day one, but it's really bad, really bad, and something needs to be done. And there are not enough people are talking about it, but something needs to be done. This is incredibly embarrassing for the product. But back to the Yankees. What are we going to do? Where do we go from here, guys? Where do we go from here? Go game 4 coming up. We're going to try and avoid a sweep. It doesn't matter. If the Yankees win tonight, it doesn't matter. They're going to lose game 5. And if not game 5, they'll definitely lose game 6. Because this team doesn't look like they're prepared. They don't have the depth. And the way that they performed at home at Yankee Stadium, they look like they're ready for an early vacay. What a freaking shame, man. Do you see the prices in that World Series? It's like $2,000. People are paying like $2,000 to sit in the right field bleachers to watch that performance. What up, CP? Gotta run, folks. Always good chatting to you. Thanks, Donald, for the stream today. It was good to vent a little. Exactly. That's what I was here. This is the opportunity for guys to vent. Pappy Yankees. We gotta take one game at a time. Let's go Yankees. I'm stunned, bro. I'm sorry, Pappy. They don't look like they care. I would be with you if they looked like they cared, but they don't look like they care. They don't look prepared, and there's far too many dudes that are very comfortable in their skins right now. It's like chilling. If I had any faith this team would have come back, Just look at the answers that we got in the post game from like Aaron Boone and Aaron Judge. Oh, Aaron Boone was like, oh, hopefully we come back. Hopefully. Aaron Judge, a loss is a loss. Maybe not doing my job. It's just far too relaxed. Far too freaking relaxed for my liking. There's not enough people like Juan Soto that stared in that dugout and looked furious. Just look at Juan Soto's face. He looked furious. He was spitting fumes, bro. He was disgusted with what's going on around him. He hates to lose. I want someone who hates to lose more than they love to win. Because he hates to lose. You could tell it's all over written on his face. And that's the kind of guys you want to go to war with. Our captain, smiling through the entire post game, where he struck out like 50, 60% of his at-bats in the postseason. And he's sitting there smiling. That's not someone who hates to lose. And I'm not saying I don't love Aaron Judge. I do, but I know someone that loves to, that hates to lose, and he's not one of them. He's far too relaxed. He kind of gives off an Aaron Boone vibe to me, and it's not the way I like to see my captain of a Yankee team. Because let's not forget, this is the Yankees. This is not some other organization. It's not some over half-assed organization. This is the Yankees. There's a mystique. There's an aura. There's a history behind it. When you wear the pinstripes, you're representing not just New York City, the best city in the world, but you're also representing one of the greatest fan bases in the world, if not the best. You're representing them too. You're representing the people of the Bronx. You're representing the people of Manhattan and fucking Westchester and Queens and everywhere. Maybe not Queens because they're Met fans, but you know what I'm saying. Brooklyn. You represent every bit of New York. And you let us all down. You represent families that are Yankee fans, generations of Yankee fans. You represent them too. Let them down. And you represent the people that have worn the pinstripes with pride before them. The 90s dynasty. Every single player that ever donned a Yankee cap during that dynasty era to help us win the dynasty, during that dynasty era, these players right now are letting them down. The guys that played in the 70s, you're letting them down. Guys in the 80s, in the thousands, you're letting them down too. You're letting down every single person in Monument Park. Letting all them down. And I'll never forgive them for it. I don't care that we lose this World Series. It's not that we lose this World Series. We're not as good a team as the Dodgers. I'll accept it. But I won't accept this effort. I won't, because this is the most pathetic World Series that the Yankees have probably ever put together. And it's shameful to play like that. It's one way to play like that in LA, but to go to New York at home, it's pathetic. I don't think there's any other word for it. All right, Egyptian. Good job. Spawn. Every borough. Mario Ruiz rephrased that. No, the worst team to represent us, Yankee Nation, and the legends of this past dummies. They are dummies. Absolutely. The Yankees represent all of us and everyone that's come before them. And they failed them and failed us. And it's not acceptable. Go out fighting. Go out fighting. If you lose 4-2, but you take them all the way, and you give the Dodgers frickin' hell, I won't complain. But they haven't. They've gone weak, they've gone meek, and it's a disgraceful effort. It is. I think it is the most pathetic World Series in Yankees history. But do you guys agree? Everyone in the chat. There's almost 50 people in the chat. Do you guys agree? I'll be right back. Just need to plug in my laptop. Do you guys agree? Because I honestly think it is the most disgraceful World Series. Does anyone disagree? What's Patrick got to say here? Mets put up a heck of a fight versus LA. Even in blowouts, you felt there was a comeback. Yankees were down 2, felt like they were down 10. Yeah. Yeah, we all agree. That's it, Mario. I saw the Reds sweeping, so it isn't the first time. Even if they went 7 games and lost, there would be drama. Sure, absolutely. Jack, certainly the most pathetic showing by the Yankees in my lifetime. Salute, Jack. Good to see you in the chat. Egyptian magician so far yet. Salute to you. Ain't over yet. It feels kind of over. You're down 3-zip. What are we going to do? I think there's a good chance we might win tonight, but I think it's fairly meaningless after what happened last night. I mean, I'd love to give you guys some optimism. I would love to. You kidding? I would love to. You know how awesome it would be to have a series and then you can maybe go into the Bronx and then go to Billy's and be part of something? But they haven't shown up. I just hope that Hal Steinbrenner, who's probably raked in $90 million just out of ticket sales yesterday, because if every ticket cost $2,000 and a lot more, most of them were a lot more than that for that sold out stadium, that would be $90 million, not counting the chicken buckets, not including shirt sales and overpriced beers. I just hope that they bank that money and use it to go and extend Juan Soto. At least make it worth it. Because certainly the fans, they got nothing out of that. $2,000. A lot of people have to work a lot of fucking hours to get that. To sit, to see a team that didn't care. Shame on all of them. And shame on our captain. Mario, game 1, Yankees outplayed the sorry Dodgers, but bonehead Boone. Oh, I still believe in my horse, the Yankees. We will play 7, baby. 7 games. Mario thinks this team's going to come back and make a game 7. If the Yankees win tonight, they will only be the second team to win a game 4 of a World Series after being down 0-3. I think it'll be a gentleman's sweep. That's my prediction. I think the Yankees will win tonight because the Dodgers have a bullpen game. There's no real need. If the Yankees put up a couple of runs early, then the Dodgers aren't going to send out their best arms. There's no reason to. They've got a 3-game lead. So even if the Yankees win, which they should in game 4, I will not be swayed either way. It's still disgraceful. Game 5 if you want positive, game 5 would be Garrett Cole. And you know Garrett Cole's not going to go down without a fight. Although we do know that Aaron Boone will probably try and take him out early because he's a moron. So let me ask y'all in the chat, if the Yankees win the next 2 games in a row, will you guys believe again? FJ, is Keel starting tonight? Yes, he is, brother. Yankees may win tonight. I think they probably will. It's a bullpen game. I mean, if they get swept, then everyone needs to go. Let's be honest. I'd maybe keep Brian Cashman because he made the Soto trade, although a lot of his moves haven't worked. They're not going to get rid of the GM anyway. The GM of a guy who gets team to a World Series, they're never going to make that change. But Aaron Boone, you should definitely go. Rojas should definitely go. The hitting coach definitely should go. And about half this lineup absolutely should go. This is the Yankees. They won't go out like that. I think it would be a real shame if they get swept. Because they've had a good year. They've had some great moments, mostly from Stanton and G and Soto. Most of those moments came from them, but there's been some great moments to get to this point. It would be real shame if they go down pathetically. So I'm looking squarely at our captain, the captain of the Titanic. I would love to see if he could do something before the ship sinks. Pappy says, you got to believe. If not, you're not a real Yankee. I'm telling you, this team isn't a real Yankee team. I appreciate you, Pappy, but don't look at the fans. Look at the players. The players have not put together any kind of product this World Series. They haven't competed in this World Series. They competed game one. They haven't competed since. So vent your anger at the team. FJ, does Judge play the violin? He is absolutely leading the orchestra, brother. He is. He's playing the violin. Maybe shaking a tambourine. Playing the bongos as the ship be sinking. Freaking unbelievable. What's Jack got to say here? Judge needs a good bean to the noggin to wake the fuck up. Captain has abandoned ship. He kind of has, brother. I hear you. These dudes got no heart. I believe the ghost of Big George will wake them up. Well, dude, let's hope so, man. We need we we need something to wake them up. But if that crowd yesterday didn't wake them up, well, what will? If 4-year hitters, not even necessarily Judge, started cracking, I'd have concerns for Dodgers going back to LA 3-2. But yeah, before I go really and just destroy this Yankee team, if you're being quite honest, right? Who has got an above average bat after Stanton in the lineup? An above average power bat. Who? Wells hasn't hit since I can't even remember. Like August. Volpe has got no power. He left his power behind last year. He's got none. Nothing. No power. None whatsoever. Jazz Chisholm technically got an above average OPS. But again, that golf swing of his, he's missing too much. But I guess you could count him. Anthony Rizzo doesn't anymore. Not after the two, not after all these injuries and the two broken fingers. So, you go through it, and who actually offers power in this Yankee lineup that could make the Dodgers afraid? You know, Verdugo has no power. His OPS has been below 500 for God knows how long. So, I mean, really, all the offense comes from the top half of this Yankee order, and it's missing its most important component because he's playing the violin on the Captain Titanic. But, I mean, who gives you a good at bat for the Yankees right now? It's Torres, and it's Soto, and it's Stanton. And Anthony Rizzo will get on base 40% of the time. That's it. That's not enough. There's not enough to win a World Series with that. There's not enough depth. Now, had they actually worked Grisham in and Dominguez in and given them more of a shot during September, where we got to October and then they actually got some decent at bats, maybe this team wouldn't be nearly as bad offensively. But I just don't have faith in this lineup. There's no depth to this lineup. That's the way I view it. Dominguez has got all the potential in the world, but they never used them. So I don't know. And Volpe gets unlimited at bats, even though Oswaldo Cabrera at least can hit occasionally. Maybe you give some at bats to Oswaldo. But there's too many favorites being played in this Yankee team, in this Yankee organization. And that's the issue, really. Verdugo plays every day. Volpe plays every day. You know, there's no competition there. So there's not enough high OPS bats on this Yankee lineup, and there's a ton on that Dodger lineup. So the Dodgers can afford to have Ohtani not having a great World Series because they got a whole lineup of dudes that can do things. So that's the issue. That's my only contention, really. So as Chris points out here, you'd have concerns about the Dodgers. I wouldn't if I were you. I don't think there's just enough power in this Yankee lineup that can come back from 3-zip down. Jacob, shout out to you, brother. Appreciate you doing this. My guy, I'm always here for my fans and our fans. Whether you agree with me, whether you disagree, I don't really care. Just come on, hop on over. Share your thoughts and aspirations for this Yankee team. Just all I ask is hit the like and sub button. That's all. What's Frank got to say? Even though the Mets didn't beat the Dodgers, maybe Boone should call Mendoza for some tips. Preach! He certainly showed to be a capable manager. How about the Yankees just got rid of Aaron Boone last year and then made Mendoza their manager, because Mendoza is a much better manager than Aaron Boone. Now, I will give Aaron Boone credit. I think he had a good postseason. I think he had a decent regular season, certainly an above average one. And he did a good job overall. He did a good job getting us to where we got to in the World Series. But really, if you want to show your managerial skills, don't completely screw up in the World Series. And Aaron Boone's made numerous decisions that have been baffling, to say the least. And it's not just his decisions. You're a leader of a rudderless ship. You're a leader of a ship with no direction. You're a leader of a bunch of men that just 2/3 of them look like they're ready to go to Cancun. If I was the manager, I would be embarrassed about that. Absolutely, man. I was at the last Yankee Met game in the summer, and the Mets blew the Yankees out of the building at Yankee Stadium. And I remember I got a last minute ticket, and I thought, how many times are you going to get an opportunity to go to a Subway Series game where both teams are pretty good, and let's see if the Yankees can get a win. It'll be amazing. The city will be on electric. No, wasn't the case. The Yankees got completely and utterly ruined by the Mets that game, and Mendoza managed the asset of Aaron Boone over that entire Subway Series this summer. And I went and walked away from that thinking, you know what? That team in Queens look like they care more. And they look like they're constituted better, and they look like they're managed better. And so that was incredibly frustrating. So I like Mendoza. I think he's done a good job. I think his season turned around when they moved Lindor to the leadoff spot. Once they put Lindor to leadoff spot, it totally changed him. Um, and then they went on a decent run, and they gave the Dodgers fits. So salute to them. They're just a better managed team. Aaron Boone ain't that guy. Don't really want to talk about fundamentals, says Frank Spawn. The next spring, from day one, fundamentals, F the analytics, start having good fundamentals. Brother, you are preaching to the converted. That's all I've ever been talking about on this podcast. I always preach fundamentals because I really think it's vital. And I think that analytics have a very important part to play in building a baseball roster and your day to day work. Absolutely, but it can't be at the expense of the fundamentals that have existed for 100+ years. You've got to know the fundamentals, man. You've got to know how to bunt. You got to know how to hit and run. You got to know when to steal bases. You got to know the cutoff man. You got to know which base to throw to and when. And you got to know how to do situational hitting. And this Yankee roster has no idea what to do situationally. They never have. They haven't really since 2017. They have had no idea what to do situationally. The amount of times this Yankee team put runners on and do absolutely the square root of nothing is mind-blowing to me. It's freaking mind-blowing. I just like dumbfounded the amount of times this Yankee team has stranded base runners and find ways to get thrown out on the bases. The way they run the bases this year is disgusting. The way Rojas is like, hey, do you want to get thrown out today? Come on over. Come around that base. Come on, get thrown out. Stanton, come on around. Come around. You're going to get thrown out right here. Come on over. Come get yourself thrown out. No accountability, no leadership, no management, no fundamentals. Absolutely, day one, that needs to get fixed. And by the way, most managers do that. Aaron Boone's one of the few that doesn't focus on it. I follow, as part of this, I want to be as switched on, as knowledgeable as I possibly can in order to get you guys the best content. I listen to other managers and other teams, and I hear them talk about the fundamentals. I hear about what these manager strategies are and how they get the best out of their teams. And Aaron Boone isn't that guy. He's far too chill. There's a whole lot of blown bubbles. It's just the way it is. Now, this Yankee, another thing, the way it is this Yankee lineup, this Yankee roster absolutely adores Aaron Boone. So it's if the Yankees get swept or if the Yankees get a gentleman sweep, I can guarantee you that this locker room will go to bat for Aaron Boone. And so what can I say? But how would you not love a manager like that? If my boss was Michael Scott, I would love him. Jesus Christ, why wouldn't you? So I'm not surprised that the locker room absolutely adores Aaron Boone. He's everyone's friend. Chris Dudley, nothing Boone can do about that, is there? Yeah, of course there's a ton of things Aaron Boone can do about the fundamentals. I think that should be one of the first things that a manager should know about. Personally. Mario, I have a great coach in mind, Tony Pena. My man, you are preaching to the converted, Mario. Give yourself a star. And if you don't give yourself a star, I'll give you a freaking star because that is spot on. Remember when Joe Girardi's coaching staff was Tony Pena, and Rob Thompson. Rob Thompson. Remember those days? Holy crap! What, when we actually had competent coaching? How's Rob Thompson doing? Pretty well. Almost like he knows how to manage. Yeah, funny that. Tony Pena, amazing coach. How have the Yankees been since they got rid of those great coaches? Willie Randolph, another phenomenal coach. Salute FJ for that comment. How about Willie Randolph? Exactly. How about Willie Randolph? Another good manager. He did a pretty good job with the Mets. Almost like these veteran players who turn into coaches know the game pretty damn well, right? Yeah. Funny that. Mario. Yes, as the big dog Steinbrenner was here, heads would be rolling. I know, dude. I'd love that. I need some heads to roll, frankly. After this, absolutely. Manager can't do anything about a 186 batting average bench, the whole team. I mean, no. No. I mean, different argument, though, bro. The argument, really, Chris, is the lack of fundamentals. And that's existed with this Yankee team for, I'm sure a lot of my uh, subscribers can absolutely testify that the fundamentals on this Yankee team have been so lacking under Aaron Boone, and the Yankees always defend Aaron Boone, and certain fair weather fans always defend Aaron Boone and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if a team looks like they have a lack of fight, and a team doesn't know how to run the bases, and a team gets thrown out at home, and a team throws to the wrong base, and a team makes goofy errors, all that is always a reflection on the manager. Always. It's only in Yankee land, because we have Barney the friendly dinosaur in charge, that we are in this generation now where if you're a really nice guy, that's the most important thing. You know, it's almost like it completely erases any issues that you might have as a manager, holding people accountable. You know, reach it, Donald. Thank you, Stevie B. Appreciate it, my guy. Greg, good to see you in the chat. How are you doing? Support, loving the support from Stevie B. Thank you, my man. We've got Li coming in the chat. I'll get to you in a minute, Li. Thanks so much for hopping in. I'm sure we'll have an interesting debate in a second. My guy Alex, everyone, remember to go and check out Alex's stream. Big Blue in the Bronx tonight. He will be covering tonight's Yankee game with myself and his brother. It's going to be fireworks. I can promise you that, judging by the way our stream went last night, where there was a lot of anger at what we were seeing. Yes, Alex, I saw Jazz over Stanton, today's lineup. If you rewind the when I broke the news, I was literally dumbfounded on the stream. Dumbfounded. I had nothing to say. I'm defeated. Absolutely defeated. Li, right, guys? Got Li in the chat. Anyone want to answer this question? Why is Boone getting blame when it's on the offense? Well, yes, it is on the offense. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. When Captain Titanic is in the middle of the order, doing nothing, striking out 60% of the time, and smirking in the post game, yeah, that has a big role to play in the Yankees' lack of hitting. The Yankees don't have the depth that the Dodgers have. They don't have the lineup that the Dodgers have. The Yankees lower half of the batting order is below average. They don't have anyone with an above average OPS. Outside the top half of the order, everyone in the bottom half of below average OPS, and you can't sustain that. You can't put together rallies. You can't drive in runs that way. When you got Jazz Chisholm, who swings like he's swinging a sand wedge. You got Aaron Judge, who I don't know where he is right now, but he's certainly not at Yankee Stadium. And yeah, absolutely, it's on the offense. Are you kidding? Of course it is. I can't remember the last time Austin Wells got a hit. It feels like September since Austin Wells did anything. Trevino's done nothing all season. So the Yankees aren't getting power from third base, first base, left field, and catcher, and that's a problem. Absolutely. So yeah, there's a lot of problems, man, and a lot of it is beyond Aaron Boone. He doesn't have the best options out of the bullpen. Which arms do you trust out of the bullpen? I mean, Luke Weaver is really front and center. So, I mean, I'm not going to argue with you about that. I think all of that goes without saying, and a lot of that is the reason why the Yankees were down 3-0. But what is on Aaron Boone is the rudderless lack of effort that we've seen. This is the first time the Yankees have been to the World Series in 15 years. The first time they've been to the Bronx in 15 years in a World Series, and that's how you play? That's a reflection on your manager. They went down with a tails tucked between their legs. As soon as Clark Schmidt gave up that home run, they didn't look like they cared. That's on the manager. What's also on the manager is his move in Game 1 that cost us Game 1. The Yankees were about to win Game 1. Aaron Boone did everything possible he could to make sure we lost Game 1. And shout out to the Dodger fans in the chat when I went on and did a live stream after that game where they said you couldn't afford to lose that game. We basically gave it to you. And you still found a way to lose. You're probably going to get swept now. And the Dodgers fans are right because they probably know their team inside out. And you can't blow games where your ace gives you a quality start. And it's certainly not in the postseason. And Aaron Boone did a great job of doing that. So that's on Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone not preparing his team. This team looked unprepared for the Dodgers. In every facet of the game, they look unprepared. It looks like he doesn't know who he wants to turn to in certain scenarios. He should know at this point. There should have been some preparation. He has no idea what to do with the batting order. I mean, Jazz Chisholm cleaning up, that's a comedy sketch now. There's Saturday Night Live now. Are you a comedian? I'll tell the jokes, Aaron. So, all this is on Aaron Boone too. The lack of knowledge about that Dodger team is on the manager. The amount of times that we've thrown inside on Freeman would blow your mind. The one place you don't do it. So, this team is unprepared. It just looks unprepared, and that's on Aaron Boone. There's no other excuse for it. Is he the reason why we've lost? No. Is he maybe 50% of it? Absolutely. He doesn't know who to turn to because the bullpen sucks. Yeah, but it's still, he's in charge of it. And until he's not, it's up to him to find the pieces that will get you to a W against the Dodgers. And he's not done it. Boone is far from the last person that deserves blame. I would say he's second. Captain Titanic Judge, then Aaron Boone. Thank you, Jacob. Donald Ben Capsaris opening for the Dodgers. I'll ask one of our Dodger fans in the chat to give us the scouting report on that guy. Frank Rivera. Let's start next year by giving Volpe multiple. Yeah, I almost promise you that's what's going to happen. Donald, is your worst take. It's not 50% of Boone's blame. What are we talking about? All right. That's your opinion, man. I appreciate it and I respect it, and thanks for hopping on. Donald isn't even a second. Boone isn't even second. Are Yankee fans stupid on purpose? Yes. Looks like I'm stupid on purpose, Li. Yeah. Thanks again. Chris Dudley. Trinity Sweeper can move 27 inches. Pitching Ninja says might be the best reliever ever. Yeah. I mean, I do have to give credit to your bullpen, man. Your Dodgers bullpen has been freaking electric. Got guys just routinely throwing 101 miles an hour. You guys have got strikeout pitchers, and that's one of the big things that Brian Cashman didn't do, is he didn't have anybody that strikes out, guys. There's just not enough people in the bullpen that can offer swing and miss stuff. Heck, there's not enough guys in the rotation that offer swing and miss stuff. Clark Schmidt doesn't. Rodon offers home runs. Luis Gil is, and Garrett Cole is. Not enough strikeouts. And then the entire bullpen, Luke Weaver's the one guy that can maybe offer a couple of Ks. There's just not enough strikeouts in this team. And you're just walking into it's like you're walking into a buzzsaw against that Dodgers team, because they are selective and they swing at good pitches and they know exactly what they're doing. They're very disciplined, unlike this Yankee roster. They're very disciplined. Prior to Game 3, I think they only struck out 10 times and the Yankees struck out 20, and that's not even counting what happened in Game 3. This Dodger team doesn't swing and miss. The Yankees team does. And a lot of it is because this bullpen was poorly constructed from Brian Cashman. And also because this lineup there's not enough professional hitters on this Yankee lineup. Christopher, salute to you. I'm surprised myself. If we defeated the Dodgers and go up against you guys, we would have clobbered you. We know your weaknesses. Spot on. I assume you're a Met fan, Chris. Is that right? If so, I was at that Subway Series game, man, and the last game, and you guys blew the fucking doors off the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. It was like, what was it, 13 something? I was beside myself. Furious. Not just at how incredibly overpriced it was to go to a Met Yankee game at Yankee Stadium. Thanks, Hal. But also, it was like $25 for a fucking beer, and it was warm. Get the fuck out of here. So I was pissed at that. And I was also pissed at serving up getting blown out against the Mets. And it made me think, this Mets team looked like they're a really good goddamn ball club and probably better than the Yankees. And I think the Mets are better than the Yankees right now. And that shouldn't be the case. Not when you've got Big G, Juan Soto, and captain of the Titanic. Should never be the case. Not when you got Cy Young Garrett Cole. Not acceptable. But I think that Met team would have clobbered the Yankees. I don't think there's much doubt about it. Because they're a better managed ball club. LI, completely agree with this point. The Austin Yankees must rebuild the bullpen and retool the offense. I'm giving you a star for that, even though you semi-insulted me earlier, but I'll give you a pass because you're spot on about that. You are exactly right. The Yankees do need to rebuild the bullpen. They have to retool this offense, and the Yankees need to make seriously difficult calls. Even if they love certain people, they have to think about the biggest picture. Who would be the best to take us further? So if that means making tough calls, they have to make it. The way Stanton is playing, I'm assuming he's 100%. Why else would he go off throughout the playoffs? Stanton is our only hope, man. Him and Soto. I don't know what to say about that. If he does, I think I'd go completely spare. You're retarded, Yankee king. You're not allowed to say that nowadays, but you're right. Okay, Christopher, I saw Soto after the Dodger win. He was pissed off. Exactly, Chris. That's the kind. Not enough guys are like that, man. Got Aaron Judge smirking in the postgame. You know, got Big G just like starey silence. And you got Aaron Boone just looking, "Ooh," blowing bubbles. Juan Soto cared. He looked furious. He looked disgusted. There's not enough guys like that. And that's the first thing I would fix is the mentality in that locker room. And by the way, that does reflect on your manager, Li. Donald, what are our chances for game 4 win? I don't care. I hate to say it, but I don't care. We're down 3-zip. What matters? How does it matter? Well, we lose in a gentleman's sweep as opposed to a sweep? It doesn't matter. This Dodger team's win the World Series. I wish it wasn't the case, but I just don't see enough leadership, and I don't think we have the pitching. We don't have the bats that can compete with that Dodger team over a course of 7 games. So I do think the Yankees might win tonight. I think they probably will because the if they lost and got swept, just like they got swept in the ALCS 2 years ago, then the whole thing needs to be torn up. So I think what they're probably going to do is they'll probably win game 4, put lipstick on a pig, lose in game 5, and then they'll be like, hey, we gave it a shot, guys. Woohoo. You know, you can see the Yankee social media team going, thank you so much, fans. You were right there with us, and we came up just a little bit short at the final hurdle. Let's hear it. Woohoo! So that's all it is now. Simping for guys instead of holding them to the kind of accountability that is required of this organization. I mean, the reason why the Yankees were the most hated team in the world is because they kept winning and they were unforgiving about it. And they had all this history. And now they're doing this kind of shit. They play like they don't give a fuck. I mean, I guarantee that the Mets, the Padres, all played much better against the Dodgers than the Yankees have. I can name a handful of teams. The Phillies would have given them a run. The Braves would have given them a run. Most of the National League would have given the Dodgers a run. Now, I still think the Dodgers are the best team, but at least those teams would give them a fight. This pathetic, disgraceful, embarrassing, rudderless, useless, empty Yankee team didn't do anything. Didn't even lay a glove. Nothing. Should all be ashamed of themselves. You're the New York Yankees. You couldn't even lay a glove against the Dodgers? I mean, this Dodger team is great, but come on. It's not the big red machine. It's not the 1920 Murderer Row Yankees. You can't compete. The Mets competed. The Padres competed. You can't compete. No. No, I'm not putting up with it. I'm just not putting up with it. Unforgivable. So, before I sign off, I do want to ask guys in the chat if the Yankees lose the World Series, which they will, how does this affect Aaron Judge's legacy moving forward? You know, the captain. How does it affect how his regular season achievements, which were significant and amazing, and another MVP, one of the best hitters in the game, but he's not better than Juan Soto. But all those things are true. How does the fact he struck out 60% of the time and has an 080 batting average in the World Series affect his legacy as a Yankee moving forward? So I want to get your takes on that before we sign off in the next few minutes. It'll be very interesting. Again, I am not coming at it at an angle of, we hate Aaron Judge or anything like that. We love Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is still the face of this Yankee team, and you can't forget about the regular season achievements, because he obviously wouldn't be here without his regular season achievements. All that is true, but it's not just in this World Series. It's been like 3 years of this. It's obviously an issue. So how does it affect his legacy? I am under the belief that it does affect certain aspects of it. I think it does affect it, because we're not guaranteed a World Series every year. Heck, this is the first time in 15 years. And that's how you come out as the captain? That's going to be almost impossible to erase how bad he was. Donald, I like that you speak your mind. I sure do. I absolutely speak my mind. You will always get that in this channel. Last night, third base coach, wow, why did he make Stanton run? Because he's a moron. Hey, I spoke my mind. The reason why Luis Rojas sent Stanton to be a sitting duck is because he is a moron. M-O-R-O-N. Moron. That's what Luis Rojas is. He's a complete moron. No wonder Met fans hated him. He is a moron. He's been getting guys thrown out at the plate all season long, and there's no accountability. Come on over, get thrown out. Come on over. What are you doing? Oh, you're still at second? Come on, get yourself thrown out at home. Come on over. It's a freaking disgrace. Judge will become one of many great regular season players who did nothing in the postseason. He'll have no legacy at all until he does something. FJ, standing on business. I love it. It's a good point. Chris Dudley, Bonds sucked in the postseason. Yeah, he did, but at least he won things. A lot of things. Many others. Judge legacy tarnished, but he's still maybe best right-handed hitter to ever hit. I think it's probably fair. He's certainly one of them. I think that's a good argument. I think he's probably top 3 all time. I don't think there's anyone that could call Ohtani the GOAT if he's just man in the postseason. Yeah, but although I give him credit for the fact that he's still playing with one arm. I think a lesser player would have been like, I'm good. Thanks, guys. I'm going to sit out. But not him. He played the next day with one arm. And he still had some quality at bats, more than Aaron Judge has. Jacob, Donald, I respect that take, but we're down 3 with 2 outs. I'd roll the dice there. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I wouldn't get yourself thrown out. No, with Stanton. Stanton's too slow. You could have had runners on the corners, I believe, and an opportunity for the next guy to come through. Now, would they come through? Probably not. 9 times out of 10, no, because this Yankee team doesn't hit after Stanton. But I'd still rather that than getting thrown out. The final out at home. There was no way Stanton was going to beat that throw. He was at third base when the left fielder had the ball in his possession, ready to throw. There was no chance Stanton was beating that. None. Any other runner, yeah, but not Stanton. You got to know who you got, and you got to know who's throwing the ball in left field. But the Yankees aren't prepared because they're poorly managed and they're poorly coached. Why wasn't Schmidt throwing up and in to Otani, daring him to turn on one? Not likely to happen with a bum shoulder. Good point. But again, the Yankees are poorly managed and they're poorly coached and poorly prepared. They don't do anything that makes any kind of rational sense as a baseball fan. But of course, extend Aaron Boone for 5 years. He's got to stay for 5 years, guys. Great. Schmidt was ass yesterday. Let me call. I mean, I've called out Aaron Boone. I've called out Captain Titanic. But I'll have to be honest. Clark Schmidt was complete ass. And if there was a competition between who's more ass between Schmidt and Rodon, it'd be a good competition. And that was something that the Yankees could not afford to do because the Yankees had the better rotation going into this World Series, but their rotation has been outpitched by the Dodgers. Flaherty matched Garrett Cole. Yamamoto wiped the floor out of Rodon. Rodon came out small. And I'm done with Rodon now officially after that. I'm giving him every support, every chance. But you can't perform like that game 2 of the World Series. No, I'm done with you now. You can go. Finish with you. Clark Schmidt, completely outpitched by Walker Buehler. Clark Schmidt should be a better pitcher. He isn't. That's on the Yankees. Clark Schmidt came up small. He was walking guys on 4 pitches. And he gave up a cut fastball right down the middle inside to Freeman, which is just ridiculous. I don't know what was going on in his mind to think that was a pitch to throw. So the Yankees' rotation has been dominated by the Dodgers. The Yankees' bullpen has been dominated by the Dodgers. The Yankees' lineup has been dominated by the Dodgers. Chris Dudley, I don't know Luis Gil any good. Luis Gil is one of the top young arms in the game. He is very much in the running for AL Rookie of the Year. In fact, you could make the argument that I think he's got the best WAR of the candidates for AL Rookie of the Year. Right up until June, he was one of the best hit pitchers in baseball. He was breaking records, man. If you go and check his numbers, right up till June, he was pitching to a sub-2 ERA, and he was just striking everybody out. However, he kind of slowed down a little bit, and he had one poor start prior to the All-Star break, and that cost him an All-Star spot. But he still should have gotten it. He still should have gotten an All-Star appearance, Luis Gil. The only thing I'll say about Luis Gil is he's a little wild. His stuff is no hit. He's got no hit stuff. He's potentially got the best stuff in the Yankee rotation for any pitcher not named Garrett Cole. But he is wild. And if he loses the strike zone, he could lose it for a couple of batters. He quite often can load the bases with nobody out by just walking the bases loaded. And a lot of that happened post All-Star break because he got a little tired because he's not used to pitching a lot of innings. Now, if I were Aaron Boone, would I have used Luis Gil a lot more in this postseason? Yes, I would have used him more than Clark Schmidt, and I would have showed more faith in him. But, of course, Aaron Bubbles has different plans. But Luis Gil's a very good pitcher, and he's got phenomenal stuff. And I think he'll give the Dodgers a problem. I do. I think he might be the only guy that will. So I think if the Yankees are to win a game, they might well win a game tonight on the back of a great Luis Gil start. I hope so for that kid because that kid's really good. And he'll rise above a lot of the slop that's been going on around him. The disgraceful team. Absolutely disgraceful. They embarrassed themselves and embarrassed the organization, embarrassed the history of the organization, embarrassed the fan base, embarrassed the city, the best city in the world. They've absolutely embarrassed them. I'll never forgive them for this. Ever. Whatever they do next year. I don't care if they win 110 games next year. Getting swept in the World Series or even a gentleman sweep in the World Series is unforgivable. First time in 15 years to come out like that, they can all go to hell. They'll all go to hell in a handbasket. So, yeah, I think that that takes us up to 2 hours. I had to get my thoughts out, and I do appreciate everyone else hopping in and sharing their thoughts. And this is a really tough time if you're a Yankee fan. But I do want to give a huge amount of congratulations to the LA Dodgers. They are the best team in baseball. They are deserved World Series champions when they do finally clinch, whether it's tonight or Game 5. Um, they will absolutely do it, and they will do it deservedly so because they are a better team, better managed, and they got players that actually care. The old Yankees team I miss. Salute Grega. I miss them too, man. I miss them too. And a lot of the younger generation, like, oh, the Yankees, all these old fans always talk about the 90s all the time. They won't stop talking about the 90s. It's because the Yankees in the 90s, they actually knew what it took to wear this hat. They knew what it meant. This team doesn't know what it means. Apart from Soto and Stanton and Garrett Cole, a lot of these guys on this current team don't know what it means to be Yankees. And I'm afraid they never will. And on that note, let's hopefully avoid a sweep, but you will definitely catch us on the Pinstripe Chronicles tomorrow, 10 a.m., with my regular co hosts, Uncle Tats and Robinho, back from his vacation. Rob and I have been texting. He is just as pissed as I am, so it should be a good show tomorrow, whatever happens. But I do appreciate all the new subs that we've had. We've got a ton of new subs. So if you haven't already subbed up, hit that sub button so you know when we are going to go live. And whether you agree with our opinions or not, it doesn't really matter. We're all Yankee fans at the end of the day, and we just want what's best for the team. So we do appreciate having Dodger fans in the chat, such as Chris Dudley, and even had a Met fan in the chat. Appreciate him too. A lot of really good comments today, and salute to you all. I hope you guys enjoy this World Series game. Make the most of it. We don't know how many we're going to get as Yankee fans these days, so make the most of it. Whatever happens, we will be here with you to talk about it and tomorrow and the days moving forward, because I'm sure we will have a lot of time to break down how to fix this team. And you can be sure that I've got my ideas. All right, guys, take care. Have a great day. Have a great evening. And enjoy the World Series. Salute.